Hey, welcome back to my channel. This is Jason, also known as Ominous Prime, and today it's gonna be May. Now that we have that out of the way, the reason for this video is to go over, well, last week we were able to go ahead and procure PlayStation 5 finally at retail. And it wasn't anything that was, I would say, is like extremely out of the ordinary, but I was able to walk into a GameStop and pick one up. And the way that came about was it's been a number of years since I had their pro membership. Got that, I want to say 2 weeks ago, getting that back in place. And then I got an alert letting me know that, hey, our GameStops are all getting PlayStation 5s on Saturday, and go show up and you can possibly get one. But I showed up at like a little bit after 8 o'clock, and I was the 12th person there. I was like, oh, they have the door open and they got a short line. um, I was able to get in, and they had it set up to where they had it in bundles. So the PlayStation 5 I got was at retail, but I did have to purchase some additional things with that. So for the bundle that I got, well, of course, the PlayStation 5 Pulse headphones. It came with 2 games. I believe that was it. But when I was there, I did pick up the official DualSense charging station. This wasn't like one of the things where I was like, I definitely need to have that when I purchased the system. I'll tell you, this has actually been one of the best purchases that I made as far as convenience, since it works as a cradle for 2 controllers. When I'm done playing, I just take my controller and put it on the cradle. When I'm ready to play again, it's all set to go. I also did end up picking up a second controller here. This one's for my wife, and she liked the, I think this is called Cosmic Red. Let me double check. Yeah, Cosmic Red, which is, it's like a dark pinkish red color. And so we have a way of, differentiating. And I didn't want to get another white controller because we have kids. So because of that, I went on to Amazon and ordered these covers here, and they slide over the edge here. So there's nothing to protect it here in the center part of the controller, as you can see. The reason why I picked this one instead of picking a skin that would wrap all the way around in the center is I needed it to be able to sit in that cradle and not be a problem with it being able to get charged. So the Pulse headphones come in this box here. I wasn't aware that it also came in white. As you can see, got the black. In some ways, I was kind of bummed about not knowing that there was a different option for the different colors, but ultimately, I think I would have picked the black anyway. Let's go ahead and talk about what my time has been like with it. Now, I've only had it for a week. The screen, you get a full 4K display for the user interface, so that's good. I did find that it was pretty easy to use as far as scrolling across, seeing what games were available. I do like, if you press the left or right button, you can toggle between your media and your games, so that it's kind of tucked away nicely that way. It's well organized. I was fortunate that when we picked this up, there was a number of games that were on sale. So the 2 games that came with the system when I purchased it as part of the bundle was Gran Turismo 7 and Horizon Forbidden West. I haven't played Horizon Forbidden West because if you watch my backlog video, I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn yet. So I need to get that completed before I jump into the next one. At least that's how I feel about it. That's how I want to go ahead and do it. So it'll be a while before I get into that because my wife is actually playing through Zero Dawn right now. As for Gran Turismo 7, I went ahead and got that changed out. Basically, I just used the credit to go on to the sale that was going on the PlayStation 5 store, pick out a number of games that were available. The other thing that I had set up was PlayStation Plus. I haven't had that in a while. Fortunately, It's going to sound weird when I explain this. So last generation, right? We had the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 being announced, and they were going over what the details of what each console can do. I was looking at it as when I was getting the Xbox One or PS4 at launch with the last generation, I actually chose Xbox One. And a lot of you were like, oh, well, you were dumb. You didn't see what was coming. At that time, I was already set up with, high-speed internet service. My 360, I already had connected and was online all the time with, and I already had my Xbox Live account. So these were all things that I was like, they're not really describing anything different from what I already do. But a lot of people freaked out about digital rights management, the DRM aspect of it. Now, the thing is, we did get a PlayStation 4 also, but during that time period, there was a number of games that would come out that I didn't have an invested interest in. Not all of them are going to hit with me, just like it doesn't all hit with a lot of you out there. What I'm getting to here is because of this like instant library of games that came for signing up for PlayStation Plus on the PlayStation 5. There's a number of games I can try out when there's a lull from releases of games that I want to pick up. It's just a larger number of games that just got added to my backlog. I only had 2 games for PlayStation that I was looking to get back to that I didn't complete or hadn't started. Now, with this week that I've had with this system, because of what was on sale, I ended up picking up Persona 5 Royal. So I dove into that one. And so I know a lot of people are going to be looking at this video and saying, you got a PlayStation 5. Why didn't you get a PlayStation 5 game to play on there so you can experience, you know, the visuals, the gameplay that you can't do on the PlayStation 4? That's where I ran into a problem. I could have played Gran Turismo 7, but I'm looking forward to Forza. If I'm going to invest time, I'm going to probably do it into Forza. Plus, all the other problems that are going on right now with Gran Turismo 7 just made it seem like $70 is a lot for a game that I don't plan on playing. So there's Ratchet and Clank, which I didn't see available as far as like a physical copy of the game. I could have bought it digitally, but at that price and with the sale that was going on the PlayStation 5, I thought it a better use of the money that I have towards purchasing games that were like ridiculously marked down, like 80% off, 90% off. I ended up picking up some PlayStation 4 games. I would be able to hopefully see that performance translate over to those older games. I believe that's going on right now with Persona 5 Royal. I'm having a good time with that game. We did play Astro's Playroom. My daughter, my eldest, she was able to sit down twice and play through the entirety of it. My youngest son, he also sat through and played most of it. I got to experience it for a bit. I do understand why people were enjoying it and what you could experience with the controller. So I understand why people are excited about what Sony had did in creating what they have here as a major step up for what they were using on the PlayStation 4. And I would have to agree, this is a very good controller. It's a different kind of sensation. It's almost similar to what Nintendo did with their rumble system that's in their Joy-Cons. Just think that the motors on these are bigger, so it's a little bit more impactful. You do have the resistance with the triggers, which are a little scary because I'm afraid of breaking the triggers on these. But fortunately, from what was described in other videos that I've seen online, as far as like the model of the controller I have here, I have one of the newer ones. So some of the defects that were plaguing some of the earlier versions of the controller, I don't have to worry about. So I'm thankful for that. If I'm on my Series X console, it kind of does this where I'll look for a game and then off to the right, you can choose which version of the game. So like if I saw, for instance, like with Persona 5 Royal, I saw that it was on sale, but they had other versions of the game also on sale. So if you're scrolling through the menu, they don't have those games put together. They have them separated. So it's possible that you buy just the base level of the game, and then you see that they had DLC for the game, right? That it's an additional purchase, right? Those were set at full price. However, if you went and there's, I believe it's like three dots that you can go over and click on that, it'll give you different versions of the game. The other part that bugs me a little bit about it is, I have a PlayStation 5. It should default, I feel, to like the best version of the game. In some cases, you're like looking at PlayStation 4 version of like the base game. Then you have a digital deluxe version of a PS4 game. And then you might have like ultimate version that's there, right? All three of these could be on sale right now and you not know it. And then on top of that, you have the PlayStation 5 version, the PlayStation 5 Digital Deluxe version, and the PlayStation 5 Ultimate, right? You wouldn't know that unless you moved your cursor over and then expanded this menu and then picked to see which version you want. Once you have picked that, then you need to scroll and see what's included in it in the information box, because chances are the DLC that's sitting there at full price is in the digital deluxe or in the collector's version, and you don't have to pay as much because those are also on sale. I know it's only a couple, clicks here and there to get to that information. It's just that there's going to be some people that don't realize that and they end up buying the game and then later seeing that, oh man, if I would have scrolled down like another 20 games, that same game came up as a digital deluxe version that included DLC that I just bought also because I wanted to have the full experience of the game. So I found that a little, I don't want to say annoying. I just thought it was a weird choice for designing your store. If you have multiple versions of that game, they should actually be put all together when you're scrolling through so you don't miss it. But that's not how they chose to do it. The other feature, when you press the little PlayStation button here, right? It pulls up this menu. They have this thing called Switcher. It's kind of like on the Xbox where you have quick resume, where with quick resume you have like games that you instantly resume where you were. The switcher seems to work in that same way, but it's not just for the last game you played. If you click on it, it'll pull up what you have active in your recent games on there, and you can kind of pick what you want to go to, and it goes to it. And it has a mix of games and apps. So I think that's a pretty cool system that they have there. But I do like that feature that comes up with that bar. Even though I have uh, PlayStation Plus, I don't have a lot of games that I necessarily go online and seek out other people to play the games with. So I don't really have any comments on how that functions, how well the connectivity is. But what I can say is for what I've been playing and the number of hours I spent playing on the system, I would say it's worthwhile definitely to get a PlayStation 5. There's the only drawback right now for me is there's just not enough games that are made specifically for the PlayStation 5 that's not already available on my series console that I want to play. But I do know that they're coming down the pike, and right now it's still difficult to get a PlayStation 5. So I'd rather that I have it, and when the games come, I'll be ready to play. And until that happens, I do have a pretty good library of games to play on here because, for the most part, on the PlayStation 4, there was a number of games that I just didn't get around to that weren't a high priority for me to play. I figured, once the generation kind of like died out, I could pick up those games pretty cheap and then get to them then because I'm not one of those gamers that needs to have the brand new game of like every game that's an interest to me and have it day one and just play through it. If you saw my backlog video, you would understand I got games that are going back to like the late 80s that I need to go back and finish. So there's no hurry to play a new game in front of an older game. But there are some games that, you can't help it. You're going to get excited for and you're going to want to play it as soon as it comes out. So for those games I make time for the rest of them, they go on my backlog and I'll get to it then. Otherwise, if you have the means and you're lucky enough to find one, I recommend getting it at retail or on sale. If you purchase it in a bundle, I completely understand. I did the same thing, but make sure that you're paying just the retail price for your console and not paying a markup on that and then getting some accessories that you don't really care for. Like some weird attachments for your controllers or things like that. There's just like, doesn't justify the price of what they're trying to push on you in order to get one. If you can't get a PlayStation 5 right now, I wouldn't sweat it too much because, like I said, there isn't a standout game that's a must have. Now, that could be Ratchet and Clank, it could be Horizon uh, Forbidden West. I haven't played either of those games. So, those could be those games, at least for some of you. For me, it's really not. But I also feel lucky that there's a number of games on PlayStation 4 I missed out on, so I can go back and play them and enjoy them. If you got a PlayStation 5 or if you're looking for one, comment below on what your experience has been with that. If you have any recommendations for games that would make me love having a PlayStation 5 even more, definitely put that into the comment section. If you like this video, go ahead and share it, please. And if you could, give me a subscribe here. That way you know when I have more videos coming up. I do have a ton, and I do mean a ton, of reviews that'll be coming up soon. I just had some deliveries this week, and I know I'm going to be quite busy putting videos together for you. So until then, get back with you then.